Hi there, so in this tutorial we're going to continue with our rock face, this time making the sides so we can actually create some sort of terrain that falls down, that comes down at the edge if we want to break it into our scene. So what we could do is sort of bubble it off at the edge. That would be a little bit unrealistic, so what we want to do is actually create it coming down, and because of the size of these tiles, what we want to do is actually make it so that when it does come down, if I just move this one, that we can build from here right down to here and then right down to there again and keep repeating it. Obviously that means the tile's going to be really big, so we are probably going to have to upgrade our tile sheet, which is good because that means that we're making lots of really cool work. What we're going to do is duplicate our original layout, and our original one we're going to lock and we're going to hide, and with our copy we're going to literally just draw straight down with the eraser tool. Okay, so let's pick the eraser. We want to make that smaller by pushing the square bracket underneath the minus key on the keyboard, and we're going to just start to take this down. Now actually what we want to do is sort of make it bubbly. Okay, some bits like that. We might have some bits that are straight like a cliff face, some bits might come round, and we just want to take it right down to that bottom corner. Okay, then with our eraser tool, what we're going to do is delete all of this excess. Okay, so we're just going to take that away, and I mean very quickly we're going to end up with a really nice cool looking cliff. Okay, so you can make it smaller as well. We'll make it bigger if it gets in the way too much. And what we need to remember is the light is coming in, so at this stage we need to start thinking about how, so select the brush tool, how we're going to make that shape. Now the one thing that we need to do first is actually say, right, this is light because the sun's hitting, and we're going to create some sort of rocks and stuff looking into this. But first things first, we want to make it a lot lighter because there is no shadow being cast from anything. Okay, so there we go. We're just going to bring this out. Okay, so what we're going to do, once we've sort of coloured those in, if just a couple of bits like that, it just adds to that variation. You start to bring in these shapes. Okay, for us to use. So obviously that is a little bit dark, so we're just going to create this shadow and obviously build that in. We're going to end up with sort of rocks down here. Okay, and obviously this one being it's still going to be a cliff face, we'll just bring that out. But at the top of that we're going to have a sort of boulder sitting there, and again just going to have some boulders sort of sitting around. And then obviously with this darker one we can start to cast shadow around them. Okay, where those darker parts are, and just sort of fill it in around here. Okay, and now with the lighter bit we are just going to create that sort of top going round. We don't want those dark outlines all around the edge because that'd be a little unrealistic. I'm just going to add that's too dark, I want this one. And let's have a look. So cool. I think we've probably got it still a little bit strong around here. So considering there's so much light, we don't want that one, so we want this lighter one here. We're just going to lighten this up. Okay. We don't need it that dark. at this stage. We do a little bit more with the light. Okay, and again probably here as well. Probably don't even need this part that dark, but we do need some there. Sort of show that edge. You can write them down just a little bit. Okay, and then what we're going to do is get the really light part, and we're just going to sort of touch a couple of these areas on the edge, because obviously they're going to be in maximum light, and so they maximum exposure, so we can sort of show that they are like that. Actually, now we have this, we can play a little bit more these. Cool, so let's just go back out again, and yeah, wicked. We've got this sort of real sort of looking realistic face. We're just going to go select tool 64 by 64, push Control Shift, well Control C, we don't need shift in this one. Go to our sprite sheet, push Control V, and if we just place that there, the bottom of that, that's looking cool. Okay, so let's just see how well this looks. It's sort of apart. Yeah, we're cool. So if we're falling down our cliff, okay, wicked. So again, what we need to do now is follow the same route with the other areas. What we're going to do is, I think for the sides and the top, I think it's going to be okay. I think for the other side it's just a case of actually making the edge a little bit darker than the bits on the other side, with very limited use of the light. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate these actually, because they are slightly different. So we're going to again lock this layer, make it visible, lock it, then hide it. And then with this one, we can deselect by pushing Control D. We're going to get our eraser tool again. We're going to make it smaller, and this time we're going to go from this corner. We're just going to take it all the way down there, and then we're going to go make the eraser bigger, and then we're just going to take all that away, same as before. Make it smaller if you want to get into areas that are more difficult to get into. And then once we're in, I think at this stage, I think that's kind of looking okay. It's looking a lot nicer than the other side. I think it's because at this point we are going to have a lot of shadow, and so I think if we pick this one here, we can sort of start going over these areas and actually making it a lot darker. I don't want to remove too much of those darker parts. We're now going to be casting shadow. Okay, and we can add a little bit more in around that edge. Okay, and again, because we have more of the what do you call it? What are the words I'm thinking of? Because we have more space, more surface area, more pixels to work with, we can actually get these much higher detailed images. So push Control C, and we'll go to the sprite sheet again. We'll copy it in, and it appears to be that well camouflaged. I can't see where it is. There it is. And again, we are copying some things from the background by the looks of it, so we will have to recopy those. But yeah, that's looking kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, I feel quite happy with that. So we're just gonna hide these. I'm gonna work out why we're getting stuff from on here. I can't work out what we're picking up. Maybe we didn't erase it completely as we'd hoped, and we're still on pencil, so we should be picking it up okay. What we're going to do is go to edit. We're going to make a new layer. Sorry, just go to fill, edit, fill, and we're going to go foreground colour. Okay. Yeah, so we are really picking up some bits here and on here. So if we just get our eraser tool again onto the right layer, and we're just going to go over these again properly. Just make sure you get all of those pixels that we aren't using up, otherwise they are going to sort of jump onto our heart and we really don't want them. Okay. And the same for this one. Overlay is locked, so select layer and lock it, and then erase to your heart's content. We did pick up oh, it's taking me all the way back. We did pick up a bit of the edge of the cliff that we don't want, and once we're there, we're ready to go. So just copy that in. Cool, and Control D. So we've got our two sides complete now, so we're just going to lock those and lock that. We're just going to hide that very quickly and hide those. We're going to unlock our original layer. We're going to duplicate that, dragging it down to the bottom, hide. And then this one, we're going to create the bottom. Okay. So what we're going to do is take this piece up. We don't want a full piece like this for the bottom, I don't think. Or do we? Or don't we? Or do we? Or don't we? Tough questions. This is going to be the bottom. If we're going to do additional at the top, I think we can get away with it at the bottom actually. So let's have a look. So width 64, we want to go 32, and we just want to check that. So yeah, I think that's how we're gonna go. So get the eraser, make sure we turn this layer on so we can make sure we get everything, so we don't do what we did before where we didn't. Okay, I know why. Our opacity look is on 90%, so turn that to 100 and we should be absolutely fine. You should be fine, not like me. So there we go, so we've got that. It's going to hide this one. Now what we need to do is actually make this feel like the bottom of a hill, so probably more rocks than ledges. So what we're going to do is pick this colour picker, and we are literally, in fact we are going to keep it selected so we don't drift out the boundary, and we're just going to literally paint circular and round. Okay, and actually start to define big round boulders. And we're just going to sort of start carving out these shapes, just sort of building around what we already have, okay, rather than attempting to build that in again. Now we just got to keep conscious that we have a boulder there and we want it to match up, so what we need to do is just keep these sections quite consistent with each other. So again, we're probably going to have a little bit coming around here. And what we need to do is sort of swap these lighter bits and these darker bits around. So again, just build this in, and again we're going to sort of build bottom back out. And so just keep building them in. We're just going to then start to add a little bit of this lighter tone around the edges, just to bring those out. In fact, we can add a little bit more there at the bottom, and we can probably get a little bit more into here as well. So undo these two, want to make that curve in, and if we just zoom out a little bit, yeah, cool. We've got some boulders at the bottom. Look, sort of stop that, which is exactly what we want. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so we're going to push Control and C, and we're just going to make sure it lines up. Control V, and yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm happy with that. Wicked. Okay, so now we just need to do the top. So we can just duplicate our layer again, Control D, and this time we just want to create sort of a top hill line. Again, we only want to do it half of the actual size, so change this to 64 and change that to 32. And because we want this to sort of line up at a peak at the very top, and we're going to have 64 by 64 either side, we've got to start from these bottom corners and sort of go all the way up. Well, not all the way up, but up to where the 32 allows. And width needs to be 64, and we're doing it the wrong way around, and then that needs to be 32. Apologies. And so we just need to line that up. So what we're going to do is hide our original layer, lock it again, lock it and then hide it. I always get it the wrong way around. We're going to erase this part of our board, our tile, and then with the next one we're going to take it down to this section. We're going to use that square bracket again on the eraser, and what we're going to do is start to just take this up. What we want to do is actually just make it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so you might want to, just practice getting that right to get the right sort of feel for it. Okay, and then we can make the brush bigger, and we can start to take that away. And it's going to require a little bit more work to make it right, make it feel right, but obviously we don't want to touch the bottom, we just want to touch this sort of top area. Okay, so shadow, we want to build in as much shadow as we can around here. Okay, we are going to work back into these, so don't worry too much. Obviously want to build more light around this side, and again we just want to build more light, and again build more shadow, and we're already getting a sort of nice looking finish happening here. Okay, and then we can start to bring these down. Okay, actually bring that in. Now we do want to sort of keep some straight lines in there to make sure that we follow the actual pattern of our hill, otherwise it will look like we've just stitched on a random top and we definitely don't want to do that. In this one again we can start to bring the wrong one, this colour. So remember, push Alt to bring up the colour picker if you forgot. Alternatively you can go to this one over here and then select off the scene. But yeah, and then we just want to add finally some real light bits on the edge, just to sort of finish off the way that looks. Okay, and obviously we can bring just a couple more bits in to this side, just to sort of make it feel on that side of the hill. And then finally with the dark, we just want to take some more of those and bring them in around here. Okay, just to keep consistency there. Okay, so if we just go further out, okay, we're going to push Control C, we don't need Shift, and we're going to push Control V, and just going to bring this down, and we're going to take this up. Cool, yeah, that looks kind of cool. So we're just going to see how it all looks together and turn the trees off. So we've got a tree here. Where's that from? There. So again, I've allowed to get this to get a little bit messy while we're working through these tutorials. So once we're here, we just want to turn on the side, and where's the other side here? So match that up. Match that up there. Cool. And obviously, you know, we could duplicate this many times over. But then we obviously would still need two end pieces to match up with this, which we can just crop these down. Actually, so what we can do is just go to these layers, get the top parts, and we've got, in fact, actually we're going to duplicate the layers, so let's just unlock them, and we'll duplicate both of those. We're going to hide those, and what we're going to do is get the bottom halves, and we're going to delete them. So select both layers. We can't delete both layers, we have to do one at a time, which is a bit annoying, but there we go. Yeah, just make sure you got it all covered. We're just going to make sure we get the boulder effects in there. So we're just going to hide this. We'll bring this across. We'll bring this down to here. And what we're going to do is bring this in, and we're just going to create a couple of boulders on this layer here. So again, get your pencil tool. Just bring that brush round. Okay, just create some round shapes. Start to block that up. Just keep it consistent. Okay, I'm obviously going to stick just some light bits in the corner. So that is going to be how far around do we need to be if we create another one of these. So if we just duplicate this and take it over to here, so it just needs to roll. We could do a little quarter piece. Yep, it would have to be. So we're just going to take this back up to here. Take this to here, and we're just going to add another line of the dark at the bottom where we've accidentally deleted that extra bit off. And what we're going to do is just, I was doing it the wrong layer, apologies. It makes you in the right layout. We're just going to draw across this bottom. Okay, there we go. Let's put me on that layer again, because I push Control Z, it's took me too far back. So try it third time. There we go. Now with this layer, we're just going to select Control Shift or Control C. Okay, no, I pushed the wrong one. Control D, V, Control C, Control V. No idea where that is. It's behind everything. That's why. There we go. Let's bring that down. Yeah, we've still got to add that little bit there. Did I do it? Just go Control Shift C, Control V. Now we have it. We can delete that layer by pushing delete. Let's bring that in. There we go, and it fits in. Lovely. Okay, now we're just going to have to do the other side. So let's just bring this over here. Yeah, I knew they were slightly off. Look. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna hide this one. Yeah, so we're drawn on this layer. Look, let's just erase those from here. Even though I did change it, well, there we go. Life goes on. And then again, we're just gonna bring this so it's visible. Control D just to hide that selection, and we just want to make wrong way. And we just want to make sure this matches up here, and then on this layer here we're just going to get the pencil tool again, and we're just going to build this in with some boulders at the bottom. And you know, and as I said, work with these pixels now, it's just a case of painting, which is so much quicker than working with so many different layers as we were before. I mean, as I said before, there are pros and cons of that. Now we have drifted onto this piece over here, so we just need to be careful how much we've drifted. So let's just hide that away. Yeah, so we are using the other piece to define it. So what I'm going to do is just fade this slightly, get the eraser, wrong layer, make sure you get the right layer. I'm just going to bring this back and turn the opacity on this back up. What we're going to have to do is work it into, so it follows this here. So what we're going to do is just take that. Oh, I'm working on the wrong layer again. So again, turn this back up to enough where we were, bring this up, and we're just going to bring that, there we go. Okay, and then obviously add some light in there. Probably a bit too much. Okay, then actually just bring that round. Okay, cool, I'm happy with that now. So let's just turn this back up, make sure it looks okay. Yep, I think that'll do. And what we'll do is we'll take this layer back to where it was, we'll hide it, and then this piece down here just needs to be copied. Control C, not on the right layer, so go back, make sure we Control C, and then we're going to add this in, take it over, and it should fit quite nicely there. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so now we've made a pretty cool looking hillside, boulders at the bottom, mountain at the top, that we can place into our scene around the edges and around the corners and fit that in, which is pretty cool. Okay, cool, so thanks for watching. The next tutorial will focus on lava, so I will see you there.